All right. Well, welcome. Welcome, ladies. I'm excited you're here. And I just want to start out by praying. Oh, Father, thank you for today. Thank you for the beautiful day that you've given us. We have breath in our lungs. We can praise you. Therefore, we praise you for today. We thank you, Father. Father, I pray that each lady, as she listens to this, that you would just minister to her, Father, that your word would come out and be as balm to their soul, Father, that it would be a fragrance that they can breathe in and get to know you better, Father. And I pray that you know, you extend your compassion on us as we extend compassion on each other this month. Uh, we're going to be leaving Saban, going into Tammuz. And so that compassion, Father, compassion as you have compassion for us. Remove any blinders that cause us to not see, Father, and give us new beginnings. Help us to trust as we trust and wait for that new month, Father, and fill us with more love that brings patience, Father. We need patience during the months ahead with the heat, the dog days of summer coming. Father, patience with ourselves, patience with each other, and help us to speak a good report about all you're doing in our lives. Help us to see with our spiritual eyes the goodness you give. Let us not become distracted by things that burden us, maybe take our eyes off of you, Father. Help continue to keep our eyes focused on you. So we just thank you, Father, for being with us, guiding us, guide our words, my words, and we just bless you and praise you in your name. Amen. Okay, so last month I talked about the new moon, Saban, and this month we're going to talk about Tammuz and some of the things that go on with Tammuz. Um, so, like I said last month, if you haven't already, grab a pen and a paper and maybe journal along as I share and write down some things that maybe really stick with you that you need to mull over in the future. Um, so, as we journey through this month, these things will come back to you. You might see them as the month plays out. And yeah, so just journal through the journey of this month and the beautiful gifts that Father has given us. Um, so, Tammuz, a month to be reminded to keep our eyes on Him as we get through those dog days of summer, right? The sun, the heat, oh, it's like a desert. Just like the Israelites being led into the desert, through the desert to the promised land. Keep your eyes focused on Him, on the target, on that bullseye, which is Him, and we can make it through. The fourth month, uh, where there's so much, during the summertime. And I don't know about you, but the long days of summer, the light helps me to see any dust bunnies or spiders, ugh, and basically clutter. And that clutter can be in the physical, it can be in the mental with wrong thinking, it can be in the spiritual with things that Father's working on in our heart. And it's almost like Father says during these lighted days, long lighted days, hey, look over here. Let's just look over here. Clean that up. Let's get rid of this. Oh, look over here. Clear that out too. Get rid of it. So, can you guess what I'm going to be talking about for the month of Tammuz? Well, cleaning up. And I was thinking about the mazel, which is the crab or Cancer in the constellations, and and how crabs have a hard shell. And I just want to say welcome to Caitlin. Glad you're here. So, crabs have a hard shell, and that made me think of my heart, our heart, and how my heart can be unclean, have a hard shell around it, or that wall, that wall that we can tend to put up. And for me, it's like that book, give him if you give a mouse a cookie. So let's clear the clutter in our heart, in our home, while we have the long hours of sunlight shedding light on our situation, whatever that may be. And we want to bring clarity to our lives. So that can help us to see the Father better. When we have clutter all around, like I mentioned, we're going, we're moving, so we're cleaning out, we've got clutter everywhere to be packed, but it just makes you like, oh, I can't handle this. So the blend, the oils that I'm going to be talking about, you can make a blend and you can add them in the order that I'm giving them to you. And we're going to post a picture of that blend. So you'll have it. Don't worry if you don't get it all. Um, and you can rub that on your neck, on your temples, inside your elbow creases, any pulse point that works. So the first one is Douglas fir, and that's all about generational wisdom and basically letting go of the generational mindset of holding on to things. This can be anything from destructive traditions passed down, harmful patterns, or too much stuff in our houses. And by breaking free of these, we can live and begin valuing our family and our ancestors for the lessons learned, right or wrong, as they were, and help get rid of the stuff and gain respect and wisdom on the journey and for your future journey. So, if it's made you who you are today, owning your stuff, working on getting rid of it, you know, that's awesome because where would you be if you didn't have all that stuff? And you're learning how to maybe let go of some things. And we can learn from the past. We can correct weaknesses in ourselves. We can change those patterns. And so let's be that generation. Psalm 145:4 says, let's be the generation that declares his mighty acts. One generation shall commend your works to another and shall declare your mighty acts. So as we clean out and get rid of, we can declare that Father did that. He cleaned that clutter out of my heart that was preventing me from being closer to him. He cleaned that clutter out of my heart of wrong thinking that, oh, it's just how my family is. Oh, it's that for my family personally, it's, oh, we're German. We're just loud. Mm, no, we're not. So cleaning out those type things, but again, cleaning out the clutter in your home. Who's heard of Marie Kondo, right? Like her, hate her, whatever. She's got some good tips, and a lot of it makes sense, and it's helpful to clean out some clutter, you know? So, what is Douglas fir good for as far as on a physical level? Well, maybe we deal with anxiety and why? So, it can help clean out that anxiety, the tension that we feel, colds, respiratories, what I'm going through, it can help clean out the system, respiratory weakness, catarrh can clean out all that stuff. So, when you're dealing with some of this, and you're going to see a pattern here of the cleaning out the essential oils that can help to do that, and they may kind of duplicate some things. And so you're just going to be blessed beyond for cleaning out stuff. Excuse me, I'm sure that was loud. Okay, so basil. It is a oil for renewal. So while we're cleaning out that stuff, we've got to kind of have that renewal. So feeling overwhelmed, as I do with moving and cleaning out, getting rid of, it can be a little bit overwhelming. How about fatigue or low energy, or even the inability to cope with life at some times? Those are things that can clog us up. So, popping open your basil to bring strength to your heart, um, and your mind can release nervousness, anxiety, depression. And I just say, if you haven't ever worked with essential oils, get with me. I do educate on them as I am now. Um, I'm a certified aromatherapist and a health coach. So that's why you see me and hear me bringing in the physical aspect along with the heart issues that need to be dealt with. And our sense of smell is amazing. It can trigger good emotions, bad emotions, it can clear things out. So I just encourage you to give it a try. Open up your basil, bring in some strength to your heart, your mind, release that nervousness, that anxiety, depression, even. It moves out infection because of the antibacterial properties. It also acts as a decongestant, right? Moving things out of the lungs, the arteries of the lungs, the prostate. It's a diuretic. So, I mean, you see this pattern of moving, removing, moving on out. And First Peter says, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that at the proper time he may exalt you, casting all your anxieties on him because he cares for you. He wants you to live a life of freedom and clarity and not having all that clutter in our lives. And I believe we're working our way back to the garden. And these are just gifts that He has given us to be able to use and diffuse them, roll them on. Um, why wouldn't we? So, our next oil is going to be rosemary, and that brings knowledge and transformation or transition, rather. Like we're transitioning from spring to summer. This is a time of transitioning, basically from broken to whole. And I say rosemary is everything for the head, you know? So it teaches us to look deeper than normal and ask more soul searching questions to receive those answers, more answers that you're looking for. Sense of smell helps with that. There's tons of studies about using smells for test taking, for recalling information, for, and that remembering is digging deep. And, I have learned to ask, Father, remind me. There's a beautiful song, Remind Me, and remind me of your goodness. Remind me what work needs done. Remind me. So it also helps in learning new information. Uh, if you're studying for something, Misty, if you're studying for a test, you may want to get your rosemary. You may want to do this blend because it's going to help you recall as you quietly sit there and smell that blend. It helps us if you're having trouble with something new. a new school, a new home, a new relationship. Open up your rosemary. Trust that Father has you right where you need to be to feel confident. Isaiah says, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze." He's right there with you. And Isaiah says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." So if you happen to have hypertension, you're not going to want to use rosemary too much. Um, you can diffuse it, but just know that it's known as an expectorant. Again, great for the brain, cognitive thinking, headaches, as an arterial vacillator. So it opens and dilates the blood vessels, opens your sinuses. Yep, it even helps to detox the body. Cellulite, constipation, worms, all of those nasty things that we don't want. And what worm is in my heart that needs to be done away with, gone. And I'm just going to pause a minute to take a drink so that my throat is okay. Okay, so our next oil is peppermint. Peppermint brings a buoyant heart. Have you ever smelled peppermint? I actually have it in my tea right now to help open up my breathing, my thinking. You know, we all go through times of discouragement where we feel downcast, maybe a little depressed, a little fear, or maybe pessimistic. Have you ever felt that way? I have. And as a doula, so I'm a birth doula as well. And so my clients, they will grab my hand to smell that peppermint because it helps open up. When you're open, you're able to open to deliver that baby. So this makes me think, what baby do I need to deliver from my own heart that really needs to come out and get rid of it? So it causes you to inhale deeply his life giving breath. And when you need a breather, he is ready to supply all your needs. And peppermint can assist you as you reach up to him for in that prayer. And remember, he says he didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and of sound mind. So, on a physical level, in thinking about peppermint, that alertness, that moving stuff out. I actually have clients who use um, peppermint. They started out with it if they had asthma and they have their little inhaler and they're like, I'm having an episode. I'm going to try my peppermint. And they just literally breathed it in through their mouth and it just opened up everything. And so now they use that most of the time instead of their inhaler. They still have it, they still carry it. But it's also one if you're in shock. You're traveling down the road and you see an accident and you want to help having that bottle of peppermint because that's shocking. When you're in an accident, it's a shock and you may not be able to breathe. So it can help open up that breathing. It's great to help the gut, digestion, moving things out. In fact, if you have little ones, a drop of peppermint, if they're having a little bit of trouble on the potty, Drop a peppermint in the toilet helps to get things moving and moving out, cleansing, getting it out of there. All right, so our next one is cardamom. I love cardamom. Put some of that on this morning too to help open me up. It's an oil for objectivity, rather, lack of favoritism. Uh, a quick tempered man. Proverbs talks a lot about uh, acting foolish, being um, angry. And so Proverbs 14 says, a quick tempered man acts foolishly, and a man of evil devises is hated. Of evil devices is hated. Proverbs 14:29, he who is slow to anger has great understanding, but he who is quick tempered exalts folly. A fool always loses his temper, but a wise man holds it back, says Proverbs 29:11. And there's more verses. Oh my gosh, you can look it up. And, so let's talk about hormones here. I don't know about y'all, but do you ever become angry because they just they always do this? Like, what is their problem? Whether it's your kids, your husband's coworker, who knows? Why do they always do this or that? You fill in the blank. Well, do we hold on to frustration because of our own hot headedness? Let's become objective, balanced, let it go. Our cycle, I'm going to talk about cycle here, is a time when we may see more clearly the patterns of insight into what needs to change, what needs to move out that is destructive, a habit or inactivity of whatever. How about, I can't stand when they do this? Move it on out. Cardamom is great at helping us to digest intense emotions of anger and, and frustration. Helps us to break them down, redirect them, and assist in letting go of that emotional distortion, because that's what it is. It's not a bad thing. I tell my clients that that cycle is like a window showing you things that father wants to work on. And so in a marriage, not acting on that in that emotional state of anger, maybe writing, journaling what's going on, the patterns you see, and then talking with them later, reading scripture to bring comfort to both you and your spouse or with your children. When we see the whole picture, when we don't respond in that moment of anger, frustration, we can then be calm, controlled, and at peace. And so it brings healing because we're clearing out that clutter of anger. So on a physical level, it's great for coughs, right? Digestion, all things digestion. And there's a drink called Lassi, Lassi, and mango lassi, all different kinds of lassies, flavorings, and there's different spices, essential oils that you can put in there. I love it. Tastes so good. Great for digestion. And so when you begin using some of these oils for purpose, whether it's diffusing, I've got my diffuser going with these oils, um, or you're using them on your skin, on those pulse points, they begin to make that shift and move out. When you drink them in a drink or you're cooking with spices, you're getting that, you're ingesting that. And that's what Father wants us to do. He wants us to digest what He's showing us and move out the stuff we don't need. So cardamom's great for digestion, and you'd like it in that mango lassi if you like mango. Terrific for headaches, respiratory, coughs, like I said. So another one, coriander. This is all about integrity, honesty, having strong morals, moral uprightness, and specifically integrity into one's self and that being trapped to serve others. I speak to a lot of women who have come out of the church who, they tell me, "Oh my gosh, it was all about you have to do this, you have to do that," and made you feel guilty about if you weren't serving. And, you know, Yeshua served. So we are called to serve. As a believer, it can be easy to fall into the mindset of doing everything for everybody and showing up every day of the week at the church and doing it, doing it, doing it. And then we are like, oh, can't do it anymore. Or maybe we do it because we want to fit in. So, this makes me think of Joseph. He did things a little differently. He had dreams and he shared them. He didn't fit in with his brothers. And we know the story, what happened to Joseph. But Father cleared him of that. He cleared all of that stuff out of the way. And so I wonder, as I was thinking about it, I wonder if Joseph used coriander um, because he was in Egypt, right? And they had all the stuff. There was plenty. Like he had everything. I mean, he lived in Pharaoh's house, right? So they had all the good stuff. So I bet he probably used it. I wonder if maybe that's why. No. Anyway, so we each have something unique and for a kingdom purpose. So being true to ourself often means letting go of different mindsets. And, I said Yeshua is a servant. He showed many ways how he served. Uh, and so having him in us, we're able to serve. And as a server, it should be filled with joy, not for the wrong reasons, and learning how to say no if it's not something you need to do. And so using our gifts for a kingdom purpose, being true to yourself, who Father made you, and receiving and accepting who He says you are, using those gifts and talents to serve Him. It's essential in serving Him. And He's really the one that matters. You know, what other people say doesn't hold a candle to Him. What does He say? Psalm 57:2 says, I cry out to God Most High, God who fills me, fulfills His purpose for me. He's going to fulfill His purpose. We just need to say, okay, yes. And so, on a physical level, maybe we can't serve because we've got some muscle aches and pains. Maybe we need, maybe our children are having those muscle cramps as they grow, or, they're getting bigger and they're going through their growth spurt. So think of development of muscles. Maybe you've been in an accident and had that whiplash, or perhaps an injury to some cartilage, or maybe a degenerative disease. Using coriander can help with these things. And so, again, I'll say I do help people with how to use them. How do we use these? You said this. How do I do it for that? So, okay, next oil. And we've got a few more. So, I'm going to try and speed it up a little bit. Wintergreen. It's all about surrender, surrendering your stuff, letting go of my strong will to be right all the time and to know everything. Oh, you know, negativity and the pain that I hold on to because of all that, I can take that burden off my shoulders because it's been written, his yoke is easy and his burden's light. So also, you also don't have to live life alone. Um, this is because of maybe holding on to self-reliance. And when I read about that, I was like, oh, wow. Oh, I can do it. I can do it. How many times do we think that or say it? Oh, I can do it. Or so life has just put us in that situation of we have to take care of ourselves, but we can begin to declutter that heart and those wrong patterns and allow Father to come in and help heal because he's already said he's not ever going to leave you. He's always with you. He's always there. So again, this one is great for cartilage, injury, uh, pain. So think all things muscle here. And just on a side note, if you're chewing gum with wintergreen, please know that wintergreen is not to be ingested. So that's a toxin or chemical that can disrupt uh, endocrine. It's an endocrine disruptor, so it can affect our hormones. So, okay, next oil, lemon. Couldn't have a blend without lemon for cleaning, right? Cleaning is all about, or I mean, lemon is all about cleaning. You know, what is it? The bald guy, Mr. Clean. Lemony fresh scent. So, anyway, when you clean with lemon, kind of makes you focus on a little better. So, lemon's all about focus. It's nourishing to the mind, aiding concentration, helps to support the emotional body. Do you have children? It's great for kids, for school concentration or room cleaning. Diffuse some lemon in a room while they're cleaning it. You might see different results. Just try it out. It encourages us to be present, dispelling any confusion. So don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed with the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. So when we're cleansing and we're using lemon, think of cleansing your kidney stones, if you happen to have them, infections. What about peanut butter or gum in the hair? Not peanut butter, gum in the hair. It helps get that gunk out. Grease. You know, you come in, you got some grease on your hands, make a great little degreaser. It's terrific for blood pressure. It's a blood pressure regulator, concentration and energizing, releasing some of that depression, and for sluggish, digestion. And if you've got a nosebleed, you can actually put it right here for a nosebleed. If it's on that side, it's on this side, put it right here. Works great. All right, so lemongrass, also cleansing all things heart. Oh my goodness, all things heart. Let's cleanse the energy around us too. Don't forget about that. You know, Father spoke and the world was created. That is some powerful energy. And have you ever walked in somewhere and you feel the room, the tension? That may not be your tension, it's probably somebody else's. So, lemongrass can help clean that, clear it out. This fragrance connects us to heal in a cleansing state. In this state, it's easier to let go of limiting beliefs like, oh, I need that, like me cleaning. Oh my goodness, oh, I need that. Um, it helps me move forward without that hesitation of maybe I'll need that someday. No, if I haven't used it in a 6 months or a year, right? You've heard it. Get rid of it. This helps to commit to a healing path. Maybe we need some healing physically. And so I'll cleanse the energy of our house, of our office, anywhere that needs it. And if you've got some pack rat tendencies, any of us got pack rat tendencies, My husband and I joke because he's like, "You can't get rid of anything." And I'll say, "You can't get rid of anything." It's that pack rat. You're a pack rat. You're a pack rat. And, you know, lemongrass may just be the thing to help you let go. It's a powerful assister in cleansing physically, emotionally, and spiritually the past, as in holding on to the past. Get rid of it. It's a great heart healer. Air population, yeah, pollution. Air pollution helps clean the air, cleans bacteria out because it's when you diffuse it, the molecules are so small. It's cleaning out the air. Cholesterol. Again, that cleaning the blood, cleaning the veins. Great for cholesterol. Drink some lemongrass tea. Cramps, Charlie horse, bladder infections, pain, lymphatic drainage, mental fatigue. I used a combination of oils after my hysterectomy. My husband thought I was crazy, but I did it and never had to take the meds at home because I used my oils. And yeah, so I'll just leave that there. Great for pain. That was one of them I used. All right, so now geranium. Geranium speaks of love and trust. And you might be wondering why I'd add an oil that speaks of love and trust. Well, here's why. At times, I know we all need to be reminded that we trust a God who is known to show up. He has been, and he will always be present in our lives. He does the work needed in our situations, whatever it may look like, no matter what the different circumstances or difficult circumstances can be. And so, lemongrass can restore confidence. Geranium can restore confidence. It can encourage emotional honesty, love, forgiveness, helps a broken heart by releasing any suppressed grief or pain, by letting it first come to the surface and then allowing love to flow freely. So often we live in a logical mind. I think what is it that she calls that logical mind? Um, and we just need to let go, you know, move out that energy. And so this fragrance tells the brain what to do through the limbic system. And so if you're feeling stuck with an emotion, but don't know why, perhaps a whiff of geranium can help clean out some of the fog. And it's also calming. Uh, for me, calming feelings of abandonment, unforgiveness, lack of trust, any kind of airborne bacteria. This is great for our lungs to help clear our lungs. Um, Endometriosis, gallbladder stones, jaundice, MRSA, acne. It's great for the skin. Oh, it's great for the skin. Vertigo. So I love, love, love our geranium. And so I'm going to give you that uh, blend. So if you've got your paper and pencil ready, it's going to be 3 drops of Douglas fir and basil. It's going to be 1 drop of rosemary, 2 drops of peppermint, 1 drop of cardamom, 2 drops of coriander, 1 drop of wintergreen, 5 drops of lemon, 3 drops of lemongrass, and 2 drops geranium. And again, I will post that in the thread so that y'all know. And I'm just coming over to read some of the comments because I was not doing that as I was going. Give me. All right. Okay. Good. Yes. Endocrine disruptions. We wonder why, as women, we have so many hormone issues. Endocrine disruptors. Think of anything you put on your skin. If it has synthetics and chemicals, anything you breathe, it can be an endocrine disruptor. Yes, I do. So in my research, when I became a birth doula, my clients, they wanted pure oils. And we had used oils for a long time. My daughters and I, we would get together with my girlfriend, we'd make up stuff, we'd have a ball. And um, when I first became a birth doula, doTERRA essential oils was introduced to me. And I had used other brands, all the other brands, all the other brands. And when I got the first oil, I was like, actually, I got the hormone one and I used it and it was different. Like it immediately rolling it on helped my situation. I had just started my cycle and was in pain and it immediately helped. And I was like, wow, okay, I've never had that happen before. And I gave it to my girls when they were going to start their cycle. And they both came to me at separate times because they didn't have their cycle at the same time, but they used it and they said, "Well, mom, we've used oils for a long time and they have never worked like this does. What is this?" I'm like, right? I know. So I do prefer doTERRA oils. My husband did a lot of research. We had a business 30 years, landscaping, lawn maintenance, 30 years in Florida. And so we had customers for 20 plus years. Um, we took care of large, prestigious neighborhoods, uh, clubhouse communities, and we operated to the excellence that our father would want us to with integrity. And so when he researched the company, he's like, they're pretty good. When they say something, they pretty much mean it. So that is a big reason. Another reason is they give us all the research. They give us all the testing that's done on every bottle. In fact, there is a number on the bottom that we can actually put in to the website and pull up that uh, research that was done or that testing that was done on the oil. So I do prefer them. I have used, like I say, I've used Garden of Eden, I've used Revive, I've used all kinds of stuff, and there's just nothing, in my opinion, this is my opinion, you all may have a different one, nothing better. And people who have used other brands have come to us and said they're different. They just work better. They're different. They're pure. They are prided on purity. So yeah, Misty, things like lotions can interrupt your hormones, causing problems. Let's see, what else? Yes, it can go. So yeah, once you add the blend to your either roller bottle or your diffuser, you don't have to add any carrier oil, but in that little roller bottle, and this is a roller bottle. Remember the old lipsticks? The little lip glosses that we'd use? It's just like that. That is a roller bottle. Once you add it to that, then you can roll it on your pulse points. This is rose. I'm actually using rose because rose is highly antibacterial, and I don't want any of this to detox to go into something else. So I'm using rose. Um, so, yes. And if anyone, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and we can open up the. Don't want to end. There we go.